On his first legislative win in office. I'm Skylar Henry on Capitol Hill as House lawmakers decide on the latest COVID relief package.
Arkansas's governor signs a new law banning nearly all abortions in the state. And vaccine hunters lend a hand to those who are struggling to get signed up online.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A final vote on President Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package is expected in the House shortly. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the president has said his #1 priority since coming into office is his American Rescue Plan. Now he's on the verge of signing the bill into law. Skylar Henry has more details from Capitol Hill.
The House will be in order. The chair lays before the House.
A once-in-a-lifetime pandemic requires bold investment, and that is what the American Rescue Plan is.
The so-called relief bill will end up costing every hardworking taxpayer in America more than $5,000 each.
Included in the bill is an extension of federal unemployment benefits at $300 a week.
An excuse to expand the welfare state and pay people not to work.
Money to help schools reopen. Increased vaccine distribution, and support for state and local governments. It also includes a tax credit of up to $3,600 per child.
This is a good plan that provides direct assistance to the people of this country that need it.
And there will be a new round of stimulus checks. $1,400 for individuals making $75,000 a year or less, and $2,800 for couples making less than $150,000. Those will start going out this month. President Biden will be able to sign the bill into law this week as the nation marks the 1-year anniversary of the global pandemic and shutdowns across the country.
Our focus now is on the address the president will be delivering on Thursday night. During his first primetime address, he'll talk about COVID, what we've been through as a country, and what the path forward looks like.
The immediate focus is on increasing vaccine distribution to reach as many people as possible.
Today, we're averaging above 2 million shots per day.
The Biden administration is purchasing 100 million more doses of the Johnson & Johnson single-shot vaccine. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Biden administration will announce the Johnson & Johnson purchase at the White House this afternoon when the president meets with the CEOs of Johnson & Johnson and Merck. The two competitors have reached an agreement to work together to manufacture the J&J vaccine. Well, you'll need to hold on to your hat when you step outside today, if you want to step outside. Michael Hayslip joins us with the first look at the forecast.
Problem is, if I hold on to my hat, I can't grab the rail, and I'm going to need to grab the rail just to stand up straight.
It's one of those days where you need to watch your car doors so they don't slam into the vehicle next to you.
That's a great point. Or come back and clip you in the leg, too.
Ooh.
I've had that happen to me. All right, as Tanya alluded to, it's no surprise that we've got wind advisories, 3rd consecutive day. I think the big development from what we had this morning is the fact that we've taken 5 counties throughout southeast Kansas and now put them in the red flag warning category. And of course, that's going to indicate that conditions ripe for wildfires to spread. The wind gust tracker has been impressive to say the least, reaching in excess of 50 miles an hour. The latest gust reported at Joplin Regional Airport, how about 45 miles per hour? Though Nevada right in there as well. Now, we are seeing a little bit of a break here, and that's why it's no surprise that those counties are part of that red flag warning. Everybody else has been under the cloud cover. Humidity really hasn't been too low considering what we've had past couple of days. 70 degrees in Joplin, 68 in Parsons, 66 in Nevada. So, well, the temperatures, if you just look at them, you go, that's comfortable as can be. Yeah, there's a reason the icons that I put in there are just straight wind, because it's mostly cloudy skies and it just comes at you and it does not give up. You know, even with those wind advisories expiring at 7 o'clock tonight, even by the time we get to 8, 9 p.m., we're still talking about 30-mile-an-hour gusts. This thing's just going to persist. Now, we also know tonight, headed into tomorrow, that's when the rain begins. Some thunderstorm activity that's going to carry us all the way into the weekend. And so our main threat here after the wind dies down is going to be flooding. Coming up here in just a little bit, Tanya, we'll talk about how much we think we're going to pick up. And don't forget, put those clocks forward an hour. We lose sleep in between Saturday and Sunday.
If you think you were falling behind, just wait till this weekend when you lose
It's all right. It's going to be so wet, you're not going to want to go outside anyway.
That's right. Just go to bed early and you'll pretend it
There
never
you go.
happened.
Call it good.
Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson signs legislation banning nearly all abortions in the state. Supporters hope it'll force the U.S. Supreme Court to revisit Roe v. Wade. Governor Hutchinson had expressed reservations about the bill, which allows the procedure only to save the life of the mother and does not provide exceptions for those impregnated by rape or incest. Arkansas is one of at least 14 states where lawmakers have proposed outright abortion bans this year. However, the legislation will not take effect until 90 days after the majority Republican legislature adjourns the current session. That means it can't be enforced until this summer at the earliest. Abortion rights supporters say they plan to challenge the ban in court before then. In Missouri, the House lawmakers pass a bill allowing guns on many forms of public transit in the state. If enacted, the measure would allow people with concealed carry permits to bring firearms on public transportation. Firearms still would not be allowed on Amtrak. People without those permits would also be allowed to bring unloaded guns as long as they don't also carry ammunition with them. The bill now goes to the Senate. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, searching for shots.
They're vaccine hunters looking hard to get appointments for strangers. I'm Nancy Chen with how one family has helped hundreds of seniors in their community.
And later, we're making simple shakshuka in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. Even as more mass COVID vaccination sites open around the country, many older people say they're running into trouble trying to sign up online. And now people known as vaccine hunters are stepping up to help. Amid a patchwork of state rules, these volunteers are spending hours online to land appointments for strangers. Nancy Chen introduces us to one New York family that's already helped more than 750 older neighbors to get their shots.
I received a phone call from many acquaintances and friends. Did you call the number? Did you get an appointment? I said, I'm just hearing frustration among frustration.
For seniors like 81-year-old Jeannie McDowell,
They didn't have an iPhone. They don't have a computer. What were they supposed to do?
securing an appointment seems impossible until they reach out to Deidre DeCastro.
Okay, no problem. I can help you with that.
Went from a cell phone to multiple laptops.
Turned into a command center.
Yes, in our kitchen.
DeCastro and her family have booked vaccine appointments by the hundreds in their central New York community.
I just need your name as it appears on your license.
All for total strangers and for free.
We do it between lunch, dinner, pretty much all the time.
I just got one, Mom.
DeCastro is often up until 3 in the morning, rapidly refreshing websites for any availabilities.
Now my husband calls it whack-a-mole. You have to be quick because there's 10,000 other people doing probably the same thing.
Her husband Marco delivering the printed confirmation tickets.
Thank you very much.
She first realized the difficulties in getting an appointment while signing up her mother-in-law. Word got out fast after DeCastro started helping neighbors.
I heard some seniors even say they would get on the computer, they might lose the site. They put in Rome, New York, and ended up in Rochester. And my other dear friend got on the phone, and the lady said, call back at 4. She called back at 4, and the tape said the office is closed.
DeCastro got an appointment in just days for McDowell and her husband. Only 2 of the 25 the DeCastros book on average each day for anyone who asks, including the Petrie family.
Vicki was very stressed. By the time she got everything in, the appointment was gone.
Vicki and Dave Petrie reached out for their daughter Jessica, who has Down syndrome, after struggling on their own.
She helped us. She helped our neighbors. She helped my brother and his wife get an appointment. I don't know how she does it.
The DeCastros' reach has now spanned 4 counties. People express their gratitude with cards and even home-cooked dinners. But DeCastro says she's just doing anything possible to protect her community.
I treat everyone as if they're my parent. Yesterday wouldn't have been soon enough for me if it were my parent.
When will you stop?
When they stop calling. I would love for everybody to feel safe again. It's not soon enough.
Nancy Chen, CBS News, Rome, New York.
What a wonderful woman. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today, we're whipping up a dish that's simple to make, yet challenging to pronounce. I hope I get it right.
Hope so, because I said it the same way, Howard. But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Feels like one of those March days where you go, yeah, it'd be beautiful if it weren't for the wind. Of course, what do we do in summer? We go, it'd be great if it weren't for the humidity. But here's the thing. Do you want to trade in the wind for the flooding? Because those are honestly our options as we head into the weekend. Wind advisory for our counties in tan lasting until 7 o'clock tonight. Also emerging later this morning, we have red flag warnings. So it is going to be a little bit drier. Wind's going to be about the same as you push out to the western part of southeast Kansas, but the humidity dropping to that dangerous level. I want to point out a couple of key numbers here. Wind gust tracker about 8:30 this morning picked up a gust of 51 miles per hour at a Chanute. Last time we even saw anything 50 at Chanute, got to go back to February 3rd. How about 52 at Joplin Regional Airport? Well, for that one right there to eclipse the 50 number, you've got to go back to December 23 of last year. So like I said, this is kind of unprecedented despite the fact that we've had these high wind warnings for the past couple of days. It's been a long time since we've experienced anything like this. Overcast skies, and so that's why that cloud cover, it was kind of neat this morning when you get a little break in the clouds with the wind moving. How about that? All right, evidently 4 states is still in one piece. We're good to go. 69 degrees is where we stand right now, and that is not a wind gust. That is sustained at 32 miles per hour. Now, we do see 70 in Joplin, 68 in Parsons, and let's go 66 up in Nevada as we begin to clear out on the western portion of the 4 states. A little sunshine they're going to see over here, but of course that's also where our red flag warnings are, an indicator that that cloud cover actually helps out everybody in the central and eastern part as far as making sure it traps in that humidity. For the year, we're down about an inch of rain from where we'd normally be of March 10. That's going to change quickly. We're going to be above our average by the time we get into next week. Right along the dividing line is where we find the low pressure. And as it ushers in thunderstorm activity for the upper plains, even some snow there coming out of Big Sky country, it's going to take a little southeasterly drop. And once it starts later on tonight and carries us into Thursday, it's going to be a long time before it wants to stop. Temperature is going to ride the 60s tonight. That's not too bad. But here's what we need to concern ourselves with is the thunderstorm activity. We'll get through most of the night unscathed. But once it starts, we see it diagonal from southwest to northeast, especially along I-44. I want to isolate this section of the 4 states because when we get to the rain tracker, that's where we're going to see the majority of the rainfall. Now, we're all going to certainly end up with precipitation of some form or fashion. While it rides I-44 into Friday and you think, oh, look, we're going to get a little bit of a break. No, this is the definition of a stationary front. It keeps building, and once it gets over us on Friday, it just hangs and hangs and hangs and hangs. We'll get lightning, we'll get thunder, but here's going to be the key portion of it. It's how much rain we're going to be able to absorb. Now, ground's not too bad shape right now, but when we push through Saturday and we're looking at 2.5 to 4 inches right here, and it keeps on raining Saturday, Sunday into Monday, then we're talking about 5 to 6 inches pocket-wise. Spring, Cow Creek, Marmaton, Little Osage. That's just in this area right here. Then, of course, we've got the Neosho running down. John Redmond Dam. Remember, if they decide to release up here where they're going to get easily 4 inches of rain, then we got to wait a couple days to see what the Neosho wants to do. On the 7-day forecast, temperature is probably the least of our worries. It is going to be cooler. It's going to kind of be wet and I don't want to call it nasty this weekend, but nothing like what we've had past couple of days. But we just got to get this rain out of here because, like I said, Tanya, our ground right now, yeah, we can absorb a little bit of it. We start talking about 4 to 6 inches in places. Nah, nobody handling that.
It's just too dry to be able to take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to go somewhere. All right, thanks, Michael.
Plan on flooded roads Monday.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Sergeant Oscar Bronson II in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Lamar, Missouri joined the military in 1944. He was stationed in the Asiatic Pacific until the end of World War II, and later served a tour in Korea. The soldier earned a number of honors, among them 2 Bronze Battle Stars, a medical badge, and the Army of Occupation Medal in Japan. To Sergeant Oscar Bronson Jr., we thank you, our 4-state hero. Today we highlight a recipe that originated in North Africa. It's basically a skillet base with yummy veggies with a protein added at the end, one that you might not expect. Howard shows us how to make a simple shakshuka in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
We're halfway through our week-long celebration of international food favorites, and today we're sharing a dish that originated in North Africa, became hugely popular in the Middle East, and now has taken America by storm. It's called shakshuka. Now, don't let the name scare you, cause it's simply some eggs that are cooked in a flavor-packed chunky tomato sauce. After cutting up an onion and green pepper, we saute them in a splash of olive oil. Once they're tender, we add some garlic, cumin, paprika, ground red pepper, and a bit of salt and pepper. After it cooks for a minute or so, we add in a can of diced tomatoes and let it simmer until it thickens up. Once it does, we stir in some feta cheese and a bit of freshly chopped cilantro. At this point, all we have to do is give it a good stir and then make indentations in this thick stew-like sauce and crack an egg into each one. After this cooks for a few minutes, it's ready to top with more cilantro and some freshly ground pepper. You'll probably want to serve this with pita or crusty bread so you can sop up every last bit. To get the recipe for simple shakshuka, just visit our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an internationally delicious way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
I kind of want to try that. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Anybody wants a weatherman to stay indoors all day long. You want boots on the ground, see what it's like outside, and this is what happens if you just stare to the south. Now I know how Pat Riley does it.
And this is what happens when you go to the north.
Thunderstorm activity begins tonight, and once it does start, it does not stop all the way into the weekend. Anticipate flooded roads Saturday, Sunday, into Monday.
Real quickly, what do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, more evidence showing people with obesity should get the COVID-19 vaccine. A new CDC study shows that more than 70,000 patients hospitalized from March to December, 50% were obese and almost 30% were overweight. Plus, more than 100 criminal charges are filed against the owners of Circle of Hope, a girls' ranch in southwest Missouri. We're going to have the latest. And the Joplin Chamber president talks about the incentive offered to General Motors and how other companies have reached out after seeing the deal. Hope you'll join us at 5.
All right, thanks, Dal. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.